Hello, welcome back, and he is Bill,
And he is Trevor.
and this is Bill and Trevor's Excellent Adventure. Nice. Got to start it.
So we're in the middle of talking about people's reactions to Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And at this time, I think, where were we again? Verse 17?
17, I believe.
Jesus is still in Galilee, which the listeners will recall is in the northern part of Jewish territory. And they're talking about going to Judea, which is the southern part of Jewish territory, where coincidentally is the seat of Jewish authority, where all the Jewish authorities, well, I say all, where in general the Jewish authorities are very anti-Jesus at this time.
They sure are.
So who's reading?
I will read, sure. Right after that, so maybe verse 18?
I like 17. That's a good one.
Let's do 17. Anyone who chooses to do the will of God will find out whether my teaching comes from God or whether I speak on my own. Whoever speaks on their own does so to gain personal glory, but he who seeks the glory of the one who sent him is a man of truth. There is nothing false about him. Has not Moses given you the law? Yet not one of you keeps the law. Why are you trying to kill me? You are demon-possessed, the crowd answered. Who is trying to kill you? Jesus said to them,
Let's pause for a moment. I find that to be a curious exclamation from the crowd.
I think so as well. I wanted to say, I don't think there's been any expressed, at least publicly, anything expressed by the Jewish leaders to kill him. So I think that's hilarious is that Jesus just knows,
Well, actually,
Or is there been? Oh, there has been. Oh, no. Where'd I miss?
get there in another few verses.
Okay, we are going to get there. There we go.
But also, you will recall when Nicodemus came to see Jesus, he did so at night.
He did at night, but I thought then it was just more discouraged. Because by then he was pretty, not anonymous, but.
Yeah. Well, John doesn't tell you about it.
Yeah,
Remember that by the time this gospel was circulating, the other three gospels were already circulating.
Yeah.
And the other gospels talk about how the Jewish authorities had said that anybody who admitted that Jesus was the Messiah would be thrown out of the synagogue.
So that one, yes. I remember that about why Nicodemus met with him at night. Yeah. But
so let's keep going. Remarkable. He just calls it out and says, "What are you talking about? You have a demon."
The whole crowd, especially. Well, it says the crowd answered. How many people actually answered that? But it's very interesting to say you are demon possessed. Who's trying to kill you? Like, relax.
Just read verse 21 because I think that's worth commenting on.
Okay. Jesus said to them, "I did one miracle, and you are all amazed."
One? Which one do you think Jesus is referring to when he talks to the crowd?
Oh, man. I guess, is it the one? Well, I don't know. That's a good question, actually. Is it the one that he just did right before them?
That's what I'm thinking. I cannot prove it, but the guy that he healed that was at the pool, the reason the people were, it says, for this reason they persecuted Jesus because he did it on the Sabbath.
Yeah.
So I assume, we're not really knowing, that that's what he's talking about.
That's what I would think too. Obviously, we talk about how John publishes things what seems to be out of order, but I feel like this one is all in order.
Yeah.
So
keep on reading.
Okay. Lost my place here.
21.
Get back to it. Okay. Yet because Moses gave you circumcision, though actually it did not come from Moses, but from the patriarchs, you circumcise a boy on the Sabbath. Now, if a boy can be circumcised on the Sabbath, so that the law of Moses may not be broken, why are you angry with me healing a man's whole body on the Sabbath? Stop judging by mere appearances, but instead judge correctly. At that point, some of the people of Jerusalem began to ask, "Isn't this the man they are trying to kill?"
Stop. There you go.
There we go. All right, there we go.
But, okay, if everybody knows that the authorities are trying to kill Jesus, why do you think the crowd would react earlier when they said, "You have a demon. Who's trying to kill you?"
Another great question, actually. I don't know. Maybe they're talking about immediate threat. Um, I don't know.
Well, I would say it's fairly immediate because Jesus wasn't hanging out in Judea in the first place because they were trying to do it.
Exactly. That's true. Hmm. That's very interesting. I guess maybe it's the crowd's way of saying, "Yeah, you're good here."
I kind of think it's very much like the way people treat Jesus today.
Mhm.
People who don't want to change will deny things that they ought to know.
Okay. Yeah. Hmm.
There are some people in this crowd
Mm.
who are already predisposed not to be a follower.
Yeah.
And so they have now lowered the volume on anything to the contrary.
Yeah.
And I would tell you that it's not unlike the way social media works today
Absolutely.
because I get discouraged by how many of my personal friends get so much information from social media, but they don't recognize that these things are programmed to feed you whatever they think you want to hear
Yeah.
because their objective is not to educate you with truth. Their objective is to keep you engaged.
Mhm. Keep it clicking.
And then, and that's human nature. And it's always been like that. People gravitate around other people who say what they want to hear,
Yeah.
which means that most people don't get to hear the opposing point of view.
Mhm. Yeah.
And a lot of people get very uncomfortable if they hear an opposing point of view.
Oh, yeah. Very.
But if you are a seeker of truth, then you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable
Mhm.
because, my wife's mother, my first wife before she passed, said that when she was a little girl, her mama said, God can make a whole world out of what you don't know.
What a what a deeper meaning to that than just what's said on the surface. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it, we look at people's reactions to Jesus,
Mhm.
and John is presenting a lot of reactions, not really that many verses about the actual miracles, because what he wants us to understand is the way human nature responds.
Yeah.
And so here we see a classic example. You have a demon. Who's trying to kill you? And then just a few verses later, isn't this the guy that they're trying to kill? All right, pick up on 25 again. I'll try not to interrupt so much.
No, no, listen, guys, it's great stuff. I love it. At that point, some of the people of Jerusalem began to ask, "Is this the man that they are trying to kill?" Here he is speaking publicly, and they are not saying a word to him. Have the authorities really concluded that he is the Messiah? But we know where this man is from. When the Messiah comes, no one will know where he is from.
Wait a minute. Really? What gets read out in churches at Christmas time? The, about the three wise men?
Yeah, the three wise men about the baby in the manger, everything.
Yeah, yeah. So they come in, they say, "Where is he that is born the King of the Jews?" And what do they do?
Well, they gave him presents.
Well, before they get to see him, they have to find out where he is. So
Oh,
they
I
go
see.
to Herod
Okay.
and they ask Herod, "Where the King of the Jews at?" And Herod freaks out because he doesn't want any other king but him.
Nope.
And so he summons the Jewish scholars and says, "Where is the King of the Jews supposed to be born?" And they all know the answer at that time. They said, "In Bethlehem." And they quoted the scripture that said that the Messiah was going to be born in Bethlehem.
Wow, yeah. Well, there you go.
But now, when the Christ comes, no one knows where he is from. Verse 27. What do you think?
Well, I think it goes back to what you were just saying about people just willfully ignoring things to deny it.
Or maybe just subconsciously lowering the volume.
That's true.
My point is, if you want to know, you got to actively seek.
Yeah, yeah,
Now, keep on reading.
yeah. And I also want to point out, I think it's a very funny dig at the Jewish authorities them saying, "Well, they haven't said anything, so is he actually the Messiah?"
Yeah.
The
It's either a dig or maybe they're just confused.
Yeah, they're probably mostly realistically confused,
Yeah,
but
it's still funny.
it's just funny to think about because they said, "Hey, if you say this, you're gonna get thrown out of the synagogue," and not for not saying anything. Hey, this guy might be him. Okay, I'll keep going. Then Jesus, still teaching in the temple courts, cried out, "Yes, you know me, and you know where I am from, and I am not here on my own authority, but he who sent me is true. You do not know him, but I know him because I am from him, and he sent me." At this they tried to seize him, but no one laid a hand on him, because his hour had not yet come.
Can you visualize that?
Not at all. Just hands stopping midair or something. Because how do you not, obviously,
I have a lot of wild ideas that kind of born out of science fiction.
oh, there you go. Yeah.
So maybe they tried to want to do it, but then they got some sort of involuntary inhibition and they couldn't put that thought into action.
that that sounds reasonable, honestly.
Or, and this comes from reading a Stephen King novel,
Oh, here we go.
the harder you try to buck what time is trying to do, the more difficult it becomes to do it.
Hmm. Man, that sounds, yeah. What a concept. That could have been a real thing. Like, or rather, that is a real thing that happened. Like, these men tried to do something, but they couldn't. And now they can only explain it by the fact that I really did try to do it, but I couldn't for some reason.
Yeah, keep reading.
Still, many in the crowd believed in him. They said, "When the Messiah comes, will he perform more signs than this man?" The Pharisees heard the crowd whispering such things about him. Then the chief priests and the Pharisees sent temple guards to arrest him. Jesus said, I am with you for I am with you for only a short time, and then I am going to the one who sent me. You will look for me, but you will not find me, and where I am, you cannot come." The Jews said to one another, "Where does this man intend to go that we cannot find him? Will he go where our people lived scattered among the Greeks and teach the Greeks? What did he mean when he said, 'You will look for me, but you will not find me,' and where I am, you cannot come?" On the last and greatest day of the festival, Jesus stood and said in a loud voice, "Let anyone who is thirsty come to me and drink. Whoever believes in me, as scripture has said, rivers of living water will flow from within them." By this he meant the Spirit, whom those who believed in him were later to receive. Up to that time the Spirit had not been given, since Jesus had not yet been glorified. On hearing his words, some of the people said, "Surely this man is the prophet." Others said, "He is the Messiah." Still others asked, "How can the Messiah come from Galilee? Does not scripture say that the Messiah will come from David's descendants and from Bethlehem, the town where David lived?"
Yeah, pause for a minute. People might need a little bit of background here.
Hmm.
So in the Old Testament, Moses told the people that God was going to send a prophet sometime after him, that when that person arrives, they should listen to him.
Mm.
And then over the centuries, people began to get blurred about what was going to be the nature of this prophet, but they knew there was supposed to be a prophet.
Yep. Yep.
And then the Jews also had this expectation of a Messiah, which literally meant anointed one.
Hmm.
In modern lingo, we would say chosen one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they didn't necessarily recognize that the chosen one was going to be the prophet.
Mm. Well, there you go.
You may recall that when John was out baptizing, not John the Apostle, but John the Baptizer, when he was asked by the Jewish authorities, "Who are you? Are you the Messiah or are you the prophet?" He said no,
Hmm.
because he wasn't that prophet.
No, he was not.
So that's what they're asking about. And then it says in verse 41, "Surely the Christ is not coming from Galilee, is he?" But you know from reading the other Gospels
Mhm.
that I think it was Matthew who pointed out that actually, yeah, the Old Testament did prophesy the Messiah was going to come in Galilee,
Mhm.
from the land of the Gentiles,
Mm.
in the valley of darkness, the light is written, or something like that.
Mm.
So it's like maybe people were supposed to know, but they just could not connect the dots.
And And that goes back to what Jesus was saying about the things that he said is like it just isn't revealed to everybody. And so maybe this is one of those things that God just didn't reveal to everybody.
So keep on reading.
Okay. Let's see. Thus people were divided because of Jesus. Some wanted to seize him, but no one laid a hand on him. Finally, the temple guards went back to the chief priests and the Pharisees, who asked them, "Why didn't you bring him in? No one ever spoke the way this man does." The
I'm going
guards
to pause here because my all-time favorite preacher of all time was somebody who was alive when I was much younger.
were.
His name was Richard Rogers. I've tried to look him up on the internet. Turns out there's a whole lot of preachers out there named Richard Rogers.
There you go. A lot of Richard Rogers.
Yeah, different guys. But anyway, he preached a really powerful sermon that stuck with me out of John chapter 7.
Oh, okay.
And one of the things he pointed out, which I was able to verify with my favorite app,
The Blue Letter Bible.
available free from download
Free
from
for-
Google Play and the Apple Store.
Okay.
Endless hours of spiritual enlightenment and entertainment. With the Blue Letter Bible, I've been able to confirm what Richard Rogers said. Down there in verse, where is that verse again? Verse 46, the officers answered, and that's a long sentence.
No one ever spoke the way this man does.
In the Greek, it's just 4 words.
Oh.
And if you understand that, somehow it just seems to have more impact, like, to it. They simply said, never man so spake.
No, there you go.
And Richard Rogers said, I can preach a whole sermon on 4 words. First word, never. In all of time and in all of history, there's never been anybody like this man. Never man. Wait, maybe he's not altogether man. So it's not just what Jesus said, it's how Jesus said it. And he made references to passages in Acts that I'm not going to go to because we're studying John.
Yep.
But there's not just what to say, but there's how to say it.
Yeah.
And modern preachers need to learn how to speak
In
a way that impacts the way Jesus did. And then spake. And here you have your point about some of the basic teachings of Jesus and how they affect our lives. And that's a powerful sermon.
Yeah.
But then he went on to say that's not the sermon he was supposed to be preaching at that time. So he went on with this other sermon.
That would have been an interesting one to hear, though.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Keep
Nope.
on.
Okay. You mean he has deceived you also? The Pharisees retorted. Have any of the rulers or of the Pharisees believed in him? No.
Good question, actually,
Very good question.
because we know of at least one.
Two.
Two, yes.
Two. Oh, I forgot the other guy's name, but there's supposed to be another one.
Nicodemus and the guy who put Jesus in his own tomb, his name was, I can't remember.
Okay, well, we need to come back next episode with that.
Okay, keep on.
No, but this mob that knows nothing of the law, there is a curse on them. Nicodemus, who had gone to Jesus earlier and who was one of their own number, asked, "Does our law condemn a man without first hearing him to find out what he has been doing?" They replied, "Are you from Galilee too? Look into it, and you will find that a prophet does not come out of Galilee."
We'll stop right there. People with footnotes in their Bibles will see that there's a story there, very, very popular story. And for all I know, it's consistent with the character of Jesus, but all of the archaeological evidence showed that the earliest manuscripts that they've been able to uncover did not have that story in it. So we're not going to read that as part of our study of John because John didn't put it in.
Yep.
But it is worth considering. Here are the authorities, the same folks that said where Messiah is supposed to come from,
Yep.
saying, look into the scriptures.
Yeah, I wonder why they won't do it themselves. It's very interesting.
And we know why.
Yeah.
So the challenge to all of the listeners is if you want to know, you're going to have to put in some effort. You cannot understand or you cannot learn whether Jesus really is who he said he was by passively listening.
Yeah.
You got to be willing to make changes, and you got to put forth the effort to look into it and make those changes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can end up being just like these people who were deliberately blind to what was going on.
Yeah.
And so that's Bill.
And that's Trevor.
And this
Is
is
Bill and Trevor's Excellent Adventure.